It's the base.
I want to talk about the new pyramid scheme.
NFTs.
Oh my god.
Fucking tease. Bro.
Yo, you're gonna get Ed Boy is gonna be on his soapbox today, bro.
Nah, so the thing, here's just what I want to say about it. If you're in NFTs, like, I'm not gonna say it's stupid.
I want to give my ignorance first. Let me get my ignorance first before you start.
Please.
From my understanding of NFTs, right?
Mm-hmm.
People are buying virtual homes and then buying virtual paintings to put on the virtual walls of their virtual homes, and then inviting their virtual friends over to look at the virtual paintings in their virtual homes. That's what I'm understanding. People are buying property. People are buying virtual paintings of sprites to put on their virtual wall, and then living like next to Snoop Dogg in his virtual villa with their virtual house and their virtual apartment on the Oculus.
Oh my god, I don't know, man.
On the Oculus.
I don't know what's happening out here, bro.
So problem number one is that people are buying all this digital art thinking that they're going to put it in their virtual fucking world. And right. I think that's one of... so here's the thing.
Bro, time out. Let's explain what NFTs are. What are NFTs?
NFTs are a fucking scheme, bro.
Non-fundable something.
It stands for non-fungible token. Okay. And it's really just something... Go ahead, man. Because
we should explain it first, because a lot of people talk about NFTs and then they'll hear what we're saying, but they don't know exactly what it is.
All right, so jump out there.
So NFT is a non-fungible token.
What is fungible? Fungible?
So, all right. So fungible is, think of it like this, like a loaf of bread. That's fungible, right? Because, you don't...
It can grow yeast?
It could be replaced, right? So, like, for example,
walk me through it.
Let's say you purchase like a keyboard, right? You know what model that you want. You don't need a particular version of that. You just want that model, right? So the company, let's say, make tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of those. You just need that keyboard, right? You don't need any particular keyboard. You just need one that works, right? Something that's non-fungible, it's something you can't necessarily replace. Now, let's say that same keyboard has like emotional value, right? So let's just say you have a keyboard that you love so much and it has value that can't necessarily be quantified, or it has some greater number, right? You can't order that anywhere else because it's only in that. That's what something that's non-fungible is. It can't be replaced. So that's why it says non-fungible. And then token, the last part, token, it's basic, like, so it's a thing that can't be replaced. That's basically what it is. So the whole point is to not just buy necessarily like a piece of art, but buy pretty much anything that could exist on, in the digital form. And it's all verified by blockchain.
Non-fungible doesn't mean that it can be replaced. Non-fungible means that it has some unique digital identifier. So
but I'm saying in general.
But it's just like it's.
I'm saying in general, like the term, right? No, my bad. Keep going.
All right. I try to look up specific stuff, like the technical terms. Like I went on Google earlier today to look up like the exact way the technology is supposed to work.
Right.
And because I've seen some videos, me working in tech, I get the general idea. Mm-hmm. I've read about how blockchain works before. And you know what? I didn't find anything that actually like told me what it works. And I feel like this is kind of like one of the fucking problems of why people get really confused with like, and I'm not like, Edwin, I know you're not confused about like really its value or its usefulness or anything like that. But I think there's a lot of, I think people are being intentionally misled to think that NFTs are this other thing that they're supposed to be. So like NFTs are built on top of like blockchain technology, right? So, and I think this is really the only reason NFTs are a thing. It's really just to drive interest in Bitcoin and like cryptocurrency and like raise the value of that. Because like cryptocurrency, the things that people like about it or say that it's valuable is that like it's essentially you need consensus from the whole network in order to agree that something actually is like valid or not, right? So like traditionally we have like a third party or a system, right, that kind of like determines that thing. And this is kind of like why people think that like crypto's the shit. And yeah, that's a really cool thing.
Like for example,
but the reality
what would be a third
that,
party? Like give an example. Like what would be a third party?
So like people that are like your banks in a sense.
Yeah.
Your banks are essentially like verifying that these transactions are these transactions, right? They're making sure that like you're not trying to use the same amount, the same dollar to purchase, right? Something to purchase two different things, right? It's making sure your transactions are like legit. And one of the fundamental problems with crypto, with blockchain, is that the larger it gets, the harder it is to actually validate something. If you literally get everybody on Bitcoin, it's going to take extremely long just to make any purchase, just because the entire network has to verify that it's actually true. And this is kind of like why it's really hard to actually like I guess what people like to say to scheme on the network, right? Because the only way to kind of like dupe the entire network as a whole is to have a computer that's stronger than the entire network combined that's already on that crypto network. And that's why people say it's kind of like unhackable. It wouldn't be unhackable if we came up with something that's way more powerful. Probably something like a quantum computer or something like that. It's kind of like the same thinking behind like why encryption works, right? It's that you come up, you use something to scramble something in a way that like it'll just take way too long to unencrypt that. Like you can, if you had all the time in the world, you could reverse some of these keys. But that's like that. So the way go ahead, sir.
Oh no, I was going to say, let's walk it back a little bit because it's all these ancillary things. Let's stick to like NFTs just so we could like shit on it.
Okay, no. So NFTs, they're built on top of blockchain, and the idea is that you're using the blockchain in order to maintain this ledger, right? This essentially long list that all you do is append a hash key to the end of it. You can make unique tokens all the fucking time. That is not unique. But what they use is the blockchain technology in order to maintain the legitimacy of that, like, or in order to maintain the quote unquote integrity of it. And what they do is that they attach an NFT, they give you a token, which is your queue on this line that they're building, that they're maintaining, and they give you a picture or a 3D image or anything to associate with it.
With what?
That's pretty much it. With the token. It's like a receipt. It's like, yo, thank you for being a sucker and buying this token. Here's this art piece that I created. And like, I get the idea behind it, but so this is my thing. So that's it. Go.
Yeah, no, because you're explaining it, but like, this token? What is this token in relation to what? Why are people buying it? Like, let's say, like what are they buying? Like, what are they buying?
They're essentially buying a unique ID that says, hey, this unique ID that was generated on this server
is yours.
That literally this server really has is the only authority to say that this is or isn't the right thing. Like, it's just attached to a picture. My fault. What's the question again? Because I got a little sidetracked with that.
No,
but essentially, you're just paying for a token. And they're saying that this token is like a receipt of like this in a sense. And they're trying to make you associate the two things, like the token with the art, this little receipt with the art, in order to create more value for this little receipt. They're attached like to unique art, like not for nothing. Like I wish there was a better way to. Well, there are better ways to do this, but NFT is not the way. Like my fault, because like this whole idea of making sure that like validating the legitimacy of your transactions. We do this all the time. It's called a fucking bank. It's called these other systems that have to fucking do this. So you don't, scheme on whatever the fuck they're selling you, whatever service they're selling you. So it's like there's some ideas about it that like sound good. Oh, free from the government, free from everything. But you know what? You're not going to want to be free from the government when someone schemes on you and you need your fucking money back for some shit. But essentially, I think it's just to go back and like boost. Yeah,
let's go back because we're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. Please, because I have mad things to say about this shit.
Yeah, we have to. So basically, just to recap, an NFT is just basically a receipt that you own something. Like for example, Jack Dorsey's first tweet on Twitter, right, was sold for almost $3 million. Now, what they did is that the person who bought it for $3 million, well, it is around $3 million. Now he has a token saying that that tweet is now his. Now, whatever that means, that's up in the air, right? But it's now his. Now, most NFTs are on the Ethereum blockchain, right? So like Bitcoin is on a blockchain. When you have different coins like Bitcoin, Ethereum, different cryptocurrencies, they're all on different ledgers. And most NFTs are done through this ledger called Ethereum, right? So all types of people are selling NFTs. So like what Loso and DK said earlier, they're selling art, right? So someone will create a piece of art or a piece of digital art, and then they'll sell the NFT, which means that on this ledger, everyone can see that you're the real owner of this. Now, even though I could technically copy, your piece of art and have a copy of it myself, I don't have the token, right? So you can own it, but not really. You own a copy of it. Now, this is kind of weird when you compare it to quote unquote real art, right? Let's say you have a Basquiat painting, right? Is worth however millions of dollars. People could take a picture of it and sell it. People can, try to, redo it themselves, which is a thing. Like they're actually, art has been like replicated and sold falsely in the past. Or, so you can sell different versions of it, but we all mentally understand, that there's an original piece of art. Now, when it comes to the digital sphere, right? Let's say he did like a digital piece, right? Who owns it? You can say I own it, but I could just right click and copy it, right? Am I the owner? Right? That's what some people will say. Like people will say this is bullshit because I can just right click it and now I own it. And the person who owns the NFT will be like, no, but you don't have the original. So it's like that same concept, but in the Matrix, and well, not in the Matrix.
I want to stop because like I feel like, does this shit sound silly? Does it not make sense? It doesn't not make sense, right?
Yeah.
I want.
Yes, no.
The topic makes sense. It's just since I'm not in that world, I'm not into the Matrix like this. You know what I mean? I'm not I trade crypto and I trade Bitcoin. I own some, and Doge, so forth. But I'm not really in the whole NFT trade gang or whatnot. So
here's a question. Actually,
I got nothing to add.
Here's a question. If I drew, let's say I was a famous artist and I drew a piece of digital art and I quote unquote sold it to you, right? Would you feel the same way as if it was a physical piece of art? And if there's a difference, why?
I think it depends on who you talk to, because everybody.
I'm talking to you though. I'm asking you.
Well, yeah, okay. Me in particular.
Yeah, you personally.
I'm not really into art, so I couldn't really answer that. I'm not an art collector.
I'm saying the same thing of something that you are interested in, like a collectible or whatever.
Can I try this thought experiment?
Yeah.
Because I'm trying to think, right? It's like, I think that the thing that NFTs try to sell you is this idea that you're buying something completely unique and no one else can replicate it, right?
Some level of exclusivity.
And I think people are being but I think some people are being misled thinking like you can transfer this into digital worlds like Digimon. But I don't want to talk about that type of confusion yet, or like the misinformation specifically, because I was Googling stuff before. But it's like, say there's something that you'd be willing to pay a physical copy for, right? Like, let's think about like, I'm trying to think of like, if you were like a sneakerhead, right? And like, let's say this artist, right? You have two options, right? He can give you a physical copy of his sneakers and give it to you, or he can make a digital copy of it, right? And give that to you. He's only going to make one or the other, right? So like, which one would you prefer? The physical one or the digital one? And this may not make sense right now, but I think I could lead you down a path, right? Okay. So which one which one would you want? They're going to be exactly replicas of the same sneaker. Would you want the physical one or the digital one?
The physical one, because I want to wear it. Besides wearing it, why would you want the physical one besides wearing it? Because again, to me, it's real.
It's real, right? But
real,
are you going to find anyone else with that sneaker?
Yeah, you will, because
if this is a special
sneaker. Example, there's only one of these.
This is only one sneaker, right? It's either going to be a digital copy or a physical copy.
So like a one-of-one. This sneaker, he's only designing this sneaker for me. No one else in the world.
Yeah.
I'd want the one I could wear. I want the real one.
Yeah, the physical copy, right? But here's the one thing, right? If somebody else wanted a copy of yours and they try to replicate it, could they?
What, of my sneaker that this guy made?
They could, right? But there's going to be little subtle things, right, that you can't copy. So you'll always know this is a unique one, right? There'll be ways for you to figure this out. So with the digital one, right, I think this is what the people think is the idea, which I get it, right? But the reality is that you're not paying for that digital asset to be unique. You can copy and paste that digital asset. That's the whole thing. Like, I can literally take your NFTs and just copy them. I'll get like, there's actually the person who created the Torrent Bay. In order to kind of prove a point, he created a torrent site that grabs all the NFTs. I forgot from which NFTs, like directories, just grabs them and puts them all there. But this is kind of like my whole thing. I think people are misunderstanding this thing where it's just like, right, a digital copy, the thing that's so useful about it and the thing that makes it so hard to, like, I guess validate it's I guess where it actually came, or even care about it, right? Like, I don't give a shit if I have a ROM copy of Pokemon. It's still Pokemon. It's because you're going to get an exact fucking replica. Yeah. And this is where I think people are confused. But that's kind of like the point I was trying to make. I don't know if that led to the point you wanted to make, Edwin, but like, that's the whole thing I was trying to make is that, like, I think people are confused about it. And when I was Googling stuff earlier today, bro, not everybody, all the things that I was reading did not talk about inherently, like, how it actually works. All they did was just talk about what the meaning was. And I felt like it was more to, like, jump on the hype. But
can we NFT the base?
Probably.
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing about, here's the thing. You can attack it from multiple angles, right? I think the vast majority of people don't get what it is technically, right? From a technical standpoint. Now, I don't know. It's weird because I would never buy like an NFT unless I want to directly support a particular person, right?
Me neither.
Like, I wouldn't value it. However, right, it doesn't matter. It doesn't necessarily matter if I value it, right? If there's a collective of people that values it, right? Then it has value. It's just like anything else. Like, you can say, oh, it doesn't have intrinsic value. Well, what's intrinsic value? As long as there's a collective of people who will buy and sell it, it has value. Now, I don't necessarily believe it. I think it's silly. I could just right click and copy it, right? But some people value that original signature. Now, do I think that NFTs are going to be like a huge thing? I don't necessarily think it is. I think right now it's just driven by
the people.
I think on one end, it's like people who just want to get in on it, but it's also, I think, a lot of people who want to make money are intentionally bidding up the price of these things, like buying NFTs essentially from themselves and then reselling them. It's like the next sucker type thing.
So what about like these digital spaces, like Snoop Dogg is buying actual property on the Metaverse? Like, how is this working as well? Go ahead, Diga. You heard about this too?
I can't hear him. He's muted.
Oh, my fault. So here's the thing. Yeah. I definitely do want to say that I think the Metaverse is something to like actually watch out for.
Right.
Like, I am worried about like really what it's going to turn into, which is like what the internet has become, which is really just a tool to make you buy shit. Yeah. But whatever, it's the future. Not for nothing, it's gonna come here. I guess my thing is like NFTs. And when you're right about it's valuable because other people find it valuable. But I feel like it's valuable in the same way like a pyramid scheme is valuable. I don't know. It's like I get why people value it. It's speculative. You know what I mean? Like, I would actually put more trust behind a crypto coin that's honestly like backed up by a company like Google or Facebook. Why? Because they're going to stick around, right? They have other things that they can use with it. And not that I think it's the right technology, honestly, to use to even manage like money across these, like, money at this type of level, right? Like a distributed type of database. That's like more technical thing. But when you have a lot of people that you're managing, like large databases like that, you have to distribute your network. And it's just like, blockchain is just not for that. But like like if I were if I had to like I would put my money behind them, and that's why I think Metaverse. Like, I'm a little bit more like I believe it's gonna happen because I've been following Oculus for mad long. We were in college, bro, when that shit was like popping off. So I'm like, I was reading that shit before. I remember when that kid, yo, my man, that kid was younger than us, and he started Oculus, bro. You know what I mean? Like, I've been following it for a while, so I think that's actually something to watch out for, and that's something I'm watching out for, hopefully for us. But I just think NFTs, bro. I think people are just being really misled. Cryptocurrency, make your money, speculate. Who knows when it's gonna drop, if it ever will? But like,
well, when you say pyramids, I mean, I just think of multi-level marketing. I mean, like, see what I'm saying? Like the Herbalifes of the world, and the one I'm familiar with was Southwestern. We went door to door selling like study guides and children's books and CD-ROMs door to door in like freaking Illinois and Missouri. Or freaking or back in the day, Tupperware. That was another one. Or freaking what's another one? Cutco. I remember a friend of mine that I grew up with. He did Cutco. You see what I'm saying? Like basically you sold like knife kits door to door. So and basically you made a bunch of money, and if whatever you made, you get a commission, and whoever hired you, they make a commission, and whoever hired them, up the pyramid it goes. So I look at this as just another version of that in the Matrix, so to speak. And, to each its own. I'm sure there's a community for it. I'm not really involved in that. I kind of look at this like people who trade freaking dogs for a living, like dog shows, or who trade expensive cars or Fabergé eggs or art dealers and stuff like that. Like, it's a whole community. I get that. I'm not like dismissing it and saying it's bullshit. I'm just saying that I'm not in the world. I'm not in this world. I'm not plugged in, and I don't really have
I think those are really good examples. Like you talked about, the art world. I mean, essentially something similar. It's like, a collective of people saying this is worth this much for whatever reason.
Right, exactly.
And, so I think that's a real good example. I think because it's new and we still grew up and live in an era where we value like these certain physical things more than digital things inherently. It's kind of hard to like, even given my understanding, like I don't 100% understand it, but I think I have the basics down. There's something, and even though I agree that, I can see the value in it, there's still something that's hard to explain, that there's something that's keeping me from valuing it from like it's not physical. So it's hard for me. And maybe, I don't know, maybe we're the last generation of analog. We were born in the analog world, grew up in the digital world. Maybe that's just like old mentality, but I would still value like the physical piece of art or like the physical sneaker over, the digital version. But I can see why. But I think the people, to everyone's point, I think the people buying into it now who don't just have expendable income and just want to do it just cause, right? The people who are genuinely thinking like, wow, I'm gonna hold on to this NFT and it's gonna like 3x in a year or something like that. I think that's pretty unrealistic.
Yeah.
Even with most things, when it comes to crazes like that, most people are left holding the bag. It's usually the early adopters who cash out, who win, and then people use those few examples as to why they should keep doing it. I think it's going to be one of those things. But I think, NFTs will probably have some sort of like, niche thing. Like people are going to care about it, but it's not going to be this, whoa, this fucking, it's not going to be, it's just another store of value.
Can I, you mentioned crypto and Bitcoin. Can I use the cautionary tale that I texted you the other day? This is a cautionary tale for the NFT and Bitcoin and crypto community. This actually happened to Odell Beckham this season. So this is a true story too. No cap. I verified it. So on November 12th, Odell Beckham Jr. signed a deal with the Rams worth $750,000. That's the veteran minimum in the NFL before taxes, of course. $750K. And he requested that he get it in Bitcoin. At the time, Bitcoin was worth $64,293.
Now it's a lot of money.
Today, I think this came out. I think this was last week when this tweet came out. Today, the value of Bitcoin is $35,400, so half.
Yeah.
So Odell will be taxed On his, remember, I mentioned this, on his $750K contract, he's going to be taxed because he plays for the Rams. They're in California, so he's got to pay the California tax, obviously, which is roughly 50.3%. So do some math. 750 divided by 2, 350K. So that means in totality, Odell, as of now, has netted only $35,703 from his Rams contract because he requested it in Bitcoin. So I say that to say this: if you do not understand the value of a dollar in retrospect to crypto or Bitcoin or Dogecoin or whatever your coin you want to go off of, you are setting yourself up for failure, because no matter what the coin is, and me and Ed Boy talked about this when we saw the Ngannou fight on Saturday at his dinner party. If you don't understand that all these coins and crypto and this, that, and the third, they have dollar amounts attached to them. Like, they're not tangible physical money. Like, you can't take a Bitcoin and be like, yeah, I want to pay for my groceries with Bitcoin. Here's a Sonic ring. You see what I'm saying? Like, nah, that's not how this works. Like, there's a dollar amount attached to it. And on top of that, there's taxes for that reason. Anything you make in this country has to be taxed. Anything you make. If you, I just found this out too. If you win the lottery, you're getting paid annually. You don't just get all your money all at once. First, you get taxed off the
No,
jump.
you got two options. You either get it all and they tax you heavily, or you get it in increments and they tax you even
Well,
because it's a check.
Well, you're gonna get
That's
taxed
true.
regardless.
You're gonna
right?
get taxed regardless, though. You're gonna get
yeah.
taxed regardless because when
you get taxed for the lottery, bro.
Exactly. So even no, what I'm saying is, even if you win it and you take it in one lump sum, you're still gonna get taxed every year for it because you have to declare. You have to declare, like, listen, yeah, I got $25 million in the bank. The government's gonna be like, okay, we still want our cut. Congratulations.
You also have to pay for anonymity.
Well, yeah, it depends. If you get it on lump sum, let's say you're I don't know, your let's say hypothetically your annual income is $200 million for that year, you're gonna get taxed in the highest tax bracket for that. So that's a lot of money. But exactly. But yeah, that shit is crazy, man. I don't think it's smart. There's nothing wrong with putting your money into like cryptocurrency, but you said what?
I was gonna say, everybody, to your point earlier, you mentioned that if you got the money to throw around, then it really don't.
Yeah, you don't hurt. Do whatever the fuck you want. Like, if you have money to throw around,
you got the money to throw around. So it's like, for him, that's not really a fucking loss, bro. And if Bitcoin goes back up, he's gonna be looked at as a fucking genius or some shit like that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, right now it looks stupid to us, but
here's my thing. I would never accept. I don't think I would want to accept compensation in something that's so volatile, right? Like,
not at this point in my life, no.
unless it's like, unless it's like a long-term thing. Now, so maybe for Odell Beckham, let's say he has X amount of millions of dollars and he doesn't give a fuck, right? But for any other person, that would be insane. It's like, you can't just save that Bitcoin. You have to spend it, right? And every time, every day, it could go up a lot or it can go down a lot. So basically your livelihood is based on some shit that could jump all over the place. It's like living in an unstable country.
Stocks, man.
Yeah, it's like living in a country that doesn't have a stable currency. It can go all over the place. You don't know what your dollar, how many cents your dollar is going to be worth the next day. So.
But no, that's a good point. It's a good point that both of you guys made in terms of that. Like, yes, I mean, Odell Beckham, he still has a 6-figure deal or whatever, 8-figure deal from Nike, so he's good. Actually, most of these athletes, they make more in endorsements off the field than their actual physical contracts anyway. Matter of fact, I'll take it a step further. There's a lot of athletes that are like forward thinking. They don't even touch their earnings on the field. They stash it away. And they invest it, or they spread it out throughout other investments, and they just live off endorsements. Like Alvin Kamara from the Saints, their running back, he does that. You see what I'm saying? He's got a bunch of endorsements like Airheads and his own cereal and this, that, and the third. So yeah, it's a drop in a bucket to him, but it falls right in line with what you guys were talking about before, and what I was talking about before. How I'm just looking at this as kind of like a luxury thing. for people. You know what I mean? Just like, again, the same people who buy Fabergé
ass dogs. Yeah.
Exactly, who buy dogs and freaking dog shows and Fabergé eggs and vases and painting and art and this, that, and third.
This is throwaway money for me, bro. I just want those money.
You have a family net worth of 10 billion. That's great. Right. I'm not even in those circles. I'm not even going, we're not even shopping at the same restaurant. I mean, at the same stores or eating at the same restaurants. I'm not in that world. So I'm not gonna formulate an opinion of something that, that is unbeknownst to me. Right. So it's cool. It's cool. Good for them. I don't have any NFTs. Even if I come into money, I'm not really going to be throwing it around on that. I'll be investing on freaking, franchising like a Chick-fil-A. That's the kind of stuff that I want to do. And so,
yeah, unless I can live next to Snoop Dogg in my 3D apartment, in my virtual apartment. That's the only way I'll spend money.
Snoop Dogg.
Yo, DK.
The other thing, go ahead.
Go on. What you gonna say?
No. What are you gonna ask?
I was gonna say, where do you think the metaverse is going? Because I got some ideas, but I don't want to say it and then get it stolen. So I'm gonna say it when the shit's
honestly, like the metaverse is literally like it's like playing an MMORPG. Like
bro.
So like it's just like having regular people. Like I don't know. I see it like regular people just buy into it. You know what I mean? And kind of like and just go there. Like. I'm trying like regular shit you would do in like MMORPGs, you know what I mean? Like special events. Oh, let's go visit this place, this digital place. That's why I think it makes sense. It's like why I would value that more because it's just like pay Snoop Dogg a bunch of money to just play and stay in this corner of your server and just, like maybe have your interns even go on it. You know what I mean? Like and make pretend they're you. That's why I'm like I can see why that would make sense, right? Like, but
man, that is interesting, though, right? Even though, Snoop Dogg, let's say, could do a concert in his crib, in his basement, right? However many thousands of miles away, but because you're you both have physical avatars, you could be next to him. You could feel that connection. I think that's pretty interesting.
That's what's so dope about Oculus. I remember the first time my brother showed it to me. He had like a demo version, and like I was like courtside at a Laker game or something, and I was like, "Yo, this is wild, bro." And he's just like, "Yo, dog." He's like, "This was like 2 years ago." It was like 2 years ago, and then so he showed me. He was telling me, "Yo, they're gonna have this for concerts. They're gonna have this for freaking amusement parks. They're gonna have this for freaking for live games or whatever, and of course video games. You know what I mean? And of course movies. You know what I mean? Who knows? Like the sky's the limit. That's cool. That's cool. That's more of like an entertainment thing." But again, trading Fabergé eggs, digital Fabergé eggs or whatnot, just because I have 25 billion in the bank or whatnot. I mean, I'm not in that world, so I don't want to sound ignorant and like try to speak on that world. So
I want to just jump because like think about this digital world, right? Let's say Facebook were to create some type of NFT type store, right? Where now they sell you a digital asset, right? Mm-hmm. And now you can bring this into your metaverse, right? The whole idea, I think this is what some people think might be able to happen. I think that would be cool. That's why I'm like, an NFT supported by a company like Facebook would make sense. Although I think the way they would want to do it would not be using the blockchain. But it's this whole idea of by being able to buy a unique digital asset and use it in a digital world. But it's just like you need some authority and you need some like some body to like govern that and give it some type of like some value, right? So I think Facebook could be that authority, and they do have the technology to be able to give you a digital asset that's unique and move it over into this. But I don't think it has to be called an NFT or it has to be an NFT in the way it's built now. But I think this idea of digital items being able to be transferred into digital world, I think that's dope, and I think that's where digital items will become really, really valuable. But like not in the way they're being sold to us now.
We should wrap this up because this is getting crazy. Like
I was about to leave the NFT shit and go straight into the metaverse with DK and kind of sit in the space of like what you were talking about, Ugo. Of watching like concerts and basketball games and shit like that. So now I'm like seeing it from the space of like, based on the pandemic, they trying to keep niggas home. You know what I'm saying? Like it's like, and if you can get as much things in your home where you can do all these things at home aside from which is only working on 2 senses, which is your sight and sound. I mean, sight and sound.
For now,
nothing for now, right? And they're attempting to go to your olfactory and your taste. So it's like they got that taste vision or some shit like that is supposed to be coming out.
Or smell-o-vision. Smell-o-vision, that's gonna be a thing.
Right. They're selling haptic gloves so that you can feel in the actual game and shit. So now it's like they're trying to like do as much as possible to keep you in your crib and spend the same money that you would spend outside but in your house. Well, I don't know. I don't know where this metaverse is going. What happened?
I mean, it's just. I mean, I look at it. I look at it in that sense. Again, this is America, so it always comes back down to capitalism. It always comes back down to big business. It's just another opportunity to create another market for stuff that already exists. So they can obviously have concerts like this is obviously in a post-COVID world, right? You know, when I mean, when we can get back to concerts and mass gatherings on a regular basis without worrying about screenings and vaccinations and this, that, and the third and social distancing. Yeah, they want to get back to that, but if they can find another market to still make money and still for you to enjoy whatever experience you want to enjoy, whether it be a live game or a live concert or a video game or or whatever type of or a movie, you know what I mean, or whatever live experience. I think that moving forward, that is going to be a thing. It already is a thing. Oculus already exists. I'm talking like Oculus doesn't exist. Like I think that Oculus and other versions of it are going to be a norm moving forward. You know what I mean? And just like I think for the rich and for the 1%ers or whoever does have access to the NFT world or whatever on a high scale, on the high scale of it or whatnot, they have access to it. I think that's going to expand. So, but to go to your point, Los, for sure. I see the Oculus of the world and whatnot. I see that expanding. I see that being bigger. And I just see that being like a regular thing pretty soon. Like again, my brother just got an Oculus for Christmas. Like his girl got him one, and I'm just sitting there, and he couldn't wait to open it and put it on and start going into the Metaverse or whatever, the Matrix or whatever the hell he was in, and he's all about it. But to each its own. I don't judge.
You can't use it. You can't use it on Facebook, right? You have to have Facebook to use it.
I think you can.
I wonder what uses like. When I think about new technologies, I wonder what uses. I'm wondering if like diplomats or presidents are gonna or like Putin and Biden are gonna meet in some sort of metaverse place and have negotiations.
Well, like the Illuminati, there's gonna be like an Illuminati verse.
No, right? That's inaccessible.
Porn. Anybody seen porn in the Oculus yet?
That's the thing. VR porn is actually a thing. It's actually been out for like 2 years now.
16K porn. You could be right there.
Yo, Ugo, so you play Madden 17, but you've seen Oculus porn before.
I have not seen Oculus porn. Oh. I just know that it exists.
Could you imagine playing Madden on an Oculus? You're gonna like run into shit by accident. You're gonna get hype and break and run into a wall.
The last thing I did on a VR was the Spider-Man game when not the most recent one, but the one before when he was like in Europe or whatever. So on the way into the theater, and this was the AMC in Times Square too. On the way into the theater, there were some promoters for the video game that were just like, "Hey, before you go in, do you want to play the new Spider-Man game? It's on VR." So I was like, "Oh shit!" So I put it on, and it felt like I was having
Spider-Man.
Bro, you become Spider-Man. I'm on top of a building. I got vertigo. I had to be like, "Yo, this is crazy." You know what I'm saying? That was dope. That was fun. I still didn't buy it because my anxiety would not allow me to. But that was fire. That was fire. And that was what I was talking about, Los, earlier before. I'm like, yo, I see that as being the norm. I see that as being like a regular thing with video games, entertainment moving forward for years to come. I see it. It's already here with Oculus. So, I mean, that's dope. That's dope. To me, that's fire. But, Fabergé eggs, not so much.
I went to that 3D world thing that they have on Times Square.
Oh, I want to go too. It's lit?
It's fire, bro. Go do it. It's fire.
Man, if you tell me it's fire, I know it's fire.
Nah, it's fire, man. Like I went during the middle of the day, because work paid for it when I used to work in the city.
Yeah.
And it's mad fun. There's a zombie game there's a boxing game. There's a game where you walk on tight ropes. There's like a racing game. There's mad shit, bro. Just check it out because it's I'm not gonna say like you go into it and you're like, oh shit, this shit is real. Yeah. But it's just like the way everything reacts, you know, your body naturally reacts to like, you know, if you're like on a tightrope, like you're gonna trip. You're gonna trip. You're on the floor.
Bro,
but
that was
the way your body like reacts to it. It's so fucking funny. And
that
was
like, a Spider-Man game, bro. I'm telling you.
It's so
crazy.
It's just crazy how your body just kind of like, or your mind, I guess, specifically, kind of like
your mind can't distinguish.
Your mind just like adapt. Even though, bro, you're clearly seeing some cartoony, animated type world, right? But it's just like your mind just falls into it. You know, like it just feels pretty natural to like maneuver through a world like that. Like I definitely want to try to get some VR setup. I've looked at omnidirectional treadmills, so that like adds like another dimension to like the 3D world shit. Yeah. There's also people working on like haptic vests, so you can feel things. There's gloves that people are working on. That's
what I was talking about. The haptic
like
gloves.
Crazy.
Yeah.
All right, go with the gloves. I follow this shit like crazy because I want this setup, so I never have to leave my house.
I was whenever I explain metaverse to like not to people who don't know, I was gonna put age to it, but it's not really an age thing. It's just people who just don't know. I talk about striking vipers, and I explain like, yo, go watch that episode, and you'll get a full understanding as to like what's coming in the future.
Future Smash Brothers.
No, it's here. It's here. It's here. It's here, dude. It's here. You know what I mean? It's just gonna be refined.
Smash Brothers. Mm-hmm. So are you guys? Are you guys excited about this shit? Like, what's it gonna feel like? What's it gonna feel like? I mean, it is, but like, are you excited about it to be like ubiquitous, right? Because you know, it's gonna be I think there's gonna be a point in time where this is gonna be like the norm, and the kids coming up, they're like, that's gonna be what's always existed, and we're gonna be the old fogies who remembers like Game Boy Color and
old
shit.
Fogies. Nah, I think it's gonna really be dope for like, especially like sporting events and concerts, because I enjoy going to sporting events, but at the same time I hate going to sporting events because people are idiots. So it's like the balancing act. So if you mean to tell me that I could watch a freaking Yankee game or Cowboy game or freaking Knick game or something like from the comfort of my home, but still feel like I'm at the stadium, and you know I don't have to worry about some fat idiot who's like throwing things or shirtless or wanting to touch me. It's ridiculous.
Oh man, there's gonna be some weird shit too.
The entertainment shit is gonna be dope because movies, you're gonna be able to tell movies in crazy different ways. Video games in many different ways, but with sports, bro, imagine just being able to be at the stadium, feeling like it's empty, or just like you and your friends.
That's dope.
And like just run through the stadium, bro, while people are doing shit. You know what I mean? Like
the closest thing movie wise, I could.
And porn.
The closest thing I can think porn.
And porn.
The closest thing movie wise I can think of is 4X. Like they got a couple 4X theaters in the city, and I've seen a couple Marvel movies there. I saw Dawn of Justice there. I saw freaking Civil War. I saw Suicide Squad, the first one there in 4X, and it's crazy. It's crazy because it has everything. It has the 3D action. Obviously, you got the glasses, but your chair is, if there's a car scene or if there's like a flying scene or a fighting scene or a shooting scene, your chair and your area is doing everything that's in the movie, or like. If there's a freaking car chase and there's burnt rubber, you smell burnt rubber from the freaking thing in front of you, or you get sprayed in the face with water if it's underwater. Like that's the only thing I can think of. With 4X is crazy.
It's cool, but you got to be in the mood because, like, let's say you got to be in the mood. Like, I'm eating like popcorn or something like that, and then I just get fucking
sprayed with water
sprayed on my face. What the fuck, like.
I'm not saying watch
like this. Yo, I would hate to clean up that theater.
Yo, CBS.
What did it smell like when he did the Thanos snap?
When he did the Thanos snap? I didn't watch Endgame I didn't watch that one in
Endgame got the Thanos snap. Infinity War.
they actually incinerate half the people. Like half the people chairs just incinerate you.
Just goes away.
It just smells like death.
No, it's dope. CBS News New York actually interviewed me. It's on YouTube. You know, when I was coming out of Dawn of Justice with my boy Randy. So
you thought it was amazing, didn't you?
They were just like, yo, so what was it like? I was like, Batman was right there. That shit was
wild. Terrible. That movie was fucking terrible.
Damn Batman.
I'm gonna send the link in the group chat, yo. So y'all
other black people leaned on you to go see that movie too. Like, let me see if a black person says it's great. And you
what are you talking about? There's plenty of black people in there. This is coming from Los, who doesn't think that movies are good anymore and that comedies don't exist, and like because he's a freaking connoisseur. He's a connoisseur. He's a
what
connoisseur.
Was the last comedy? You love Dawn of Justice. That movie was fucking trash.
You don't even go to movies. What the hell are you talking about?
I go with my Oculus.
When's the last movie you saw? In the Oculus? That doesn't count. When's the last
Night in Paris?
Spider-Man
with the Tobey Maguire. That's the that's the last one this nigga saw.
Tobey Maguire was in it.
It was the first time Dr. Octopus showed up. He's like, yeah, that nigga was crazy. He had a bunch of arms and everything. That was wild. I was like,
this is bad. I can't say no because you're right.
He's like, nigga, that came out in 2004, man. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Spider-Man was the last movie I saw in theaters.
Man, I can just the fucking possibilities. Just like even like teaching class.
Fuck,
using it as educational. Like
shut up.
Like history class.
Shut up. I was gonna talk about that with DK.
Oh shit. Well, we can cut that one out.
That was my secret sauce conversation.
Edit, omit. Yeah. Redacted.
Delete the fuck out that
shit. We go back to slavery times.
Yo, the racism. Crazy. See, I knew this.
He's like, hey kids, put this on.
That's the first thing I thought though.
Cotton picking simulator.
Yo, why do you make things so fucking dark? Yo, what is wrong?
Put your haptic vest on, get whipped.
This is what it's like on the Amistad. It's the most boring thing ever. You're just sitting there.
Yo, that boy's dead inside.
Like you're just sitting there for hours. It's dark. This is it.
What game is this? Slavery.
Slavery for PS5.
Or it's like just life during like medieval times. It's like you die at 30. There's no food.
You die from diarrhea.
You have to take a shit in the street.
Which was the leading cause of death during medieval times was diarrhea.
Which is crazy, bro.
That's insane. You got the runs and you die?
It had to be eating some shit. That'd be some shit, bro.
Yeah, no, diarrhea is deadly.
That was the number one cause of death.
Eating some shit.
They had to be eating some crazy fucking.
The Black Plague hit them too.
Yep. Take us on home, Dominican Zordon. Yeah. Dominican Zordon, take us home.
All right, so I guess that's a wrap up. If you learned anything today, then good for you.
Like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the like button on top.
Comment, ding, all good stuff. New music video on the way too. Jonah on the way. Hey.
Remember, support on Patreon.
the bass and fit.
Oh, you know what? I got a question for y'all. You guys ever run into that problem when you're shaving? Sometimes.
Oh my God! Is Manscaped?
If you guys run into this problem shaving, try Hair Club for Men because try this new package. Bro, they always do that shit. And the fucking kids, right?
Like turn this shit off.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna do the Manscaped one. Nice shot. Yeah, oh girl, I love the way she do it. She get low like it's nothing really to it. She pick it up and she spin it back around and she get it from my mama. Damn, I knew it. Ezoku. Nice job, boy. Ibu Kwenu, yeah, that's true. She move her hips so proper. Yeah, and she look like Rihanna.